Good morning, everybody. I think it's morning anyway. Certainly is where I am. Maybe when you see it, it'll be a bit later than that. I hope you enjoyed Mr. Worry. I'm going to read you another one today, and I thought I would read you one from the Little Miss box so that we can get through a mix of Mr. Men and Little Misses. So they're all here. Which one should we go for? I'm not sure. I realised that we tried to work it all out yesterday as to which Mr. Man it was going to be, but then it actually says it on the site. So I'm going to do it a different way round this time. So there's all the Little Miss books. We'll put them back up there. They're all with the Mr. Men books. So I'm going to do Little Miss Bossy. And funny enough, she is another round one. I don't know if you can remember what colour she is. Have a little think. Little Miss Bossy. She is round. She is blue. And she has a hat, a very distinctive hat. So it's a what colour hat? It's red. It has a yellow band round it. And I don't know if any of you know or can remember what is in the hat. Tucked into the hat, she has a white daisy. So she looks like that. And you can see that she looks pretty bossy. So yesterday we had Mr. Worry. Today we have Little Miss Bossy. Here we go then. On Monday, Little Miss Bossy went for a walk. And she met Mr. Nosy. And we can always tell Mr. Nosy, because there he is, and he's got a great big long nose for being nosy. "Where are you going?" he asked. "Mind your own business," she retorted, which isn't very polite, is it? On Tuesday, she met Mr. Noisy. Now, we met Mr. Noisy again yesterday, didn't he? He comes in a lot of the stories. And he's very round and red, and he is, of course, very noisy. He was singing, la 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 la, very noisily, of course. "Shut up," she told him, which is, I think you will agree, very rude and not something we would ever say. But she's Miss Bossy, isn't she? On Wednesday, she met Mr. Happy. And guess what Mr. Happy was doing? Mr. Happy was smiling. Because that's what he always does, because he's Mr. Happy. "Take that silly smile off your face," she said. As you can imagine, Little Miss Bossy wasn't very popular, to say the least. She isn't just Miss Bossy, is she? I think she's Miss Rude as well. Now, little did Miss Bossy realise, but somebody had seen her bossing Mr. Nosy about. And that same somebody had seen her bossing Mr. Nosy about. And that same somebody had seen her bossing Mr. Happy about. This is somebody who obviously is either following Miss Bossy or just sees everything. And I think probably he sees everything because who do we think it is? The wizard, whose name, as it happens, was Wilfred. Wilfred the wizard. We could say Wilfred the wonderful wizard, couldn't we? The wise one. Wilfred the wise, wonderful wizard. And when we have lots of words beginning with the same letter, we have a special word for that. Can you remember? I know we've had this discussion before. If they're all lots of different words and they all have the same letters, like the wonderful, wise Wilfred the wizard, that is alliteration. Alliteration. So well done anybody that remembered alliteration. Anyway, the wonderful, wise wizard, whose name was Wilfred, went home thinking to himself, something really ought to be done about Miss Bossy. And off he went. When he went home, he went straight to his library and he took down a large red book from a bookshelf. It was rather dusty as it hadn't been read for some time. Now, when a wizard takes down a book from the shelf, what do you think it's a book of? I think it's probably a book of special spells. And let's see now. Cool, that's a big book. You can see him, look, sitting there in his armchair. You can hardly see Wilfred the Wizard because of the size of the big red book. Let me see now, he said to himself as he settled into an armchair, and he turned to page 304. So he knew which page to go to. At the top of the page it said, "How to stop people being bossy." Wilfred the Wizard read the page very carefully, shut the book, put it back on the bookshelf, and grinned, a particularly wizardy sort of grin. I think that's a grin where you can't quite work out what is he grinning about, like a secret magic grin, probably. The day after, which was, because we had Monday and we had Tuesday, didn't we, and we had Wednesday, so the day after, which was Thursday, little Miss Bossy met somebody who was fast asleep. As usual, and who's always fast asleep? Mr. Lazy. And there you can see Mr. Lazy, and it looks like Miss Bossy is poking him in the tummy, which isn't very nice. "Wake up," she said bossily, and prodded him in the tummy. "Ouch!" protested Mr. Lazy. But behind Miss Bossy, Wilfred the Wizard, who had been following her, said something too, under his breath. A wizardy word he'd learned from page 304. And do you know what happened? Suddenly, as if by magic, which is true because he was a wizard, wasn't it, and it was a spell, there appeared on Miss Bossy's feet a pair of boots. 1 minute they weren't there, and the next minute they were. And can you see them? There's the boots on the feet, and one's smiling, and one is smiling, and looks like one's laughing, actually, not just smiling. What do magic boots do? Miss Bossy looked bossy. I said Bossy, didn't I? Miss Bossy looked down in alarm. They were magic boots, and being magic boots, they could speak to each other. "Hello, left," said the right boot. "Hello, right," said the left boot. "Ready when you are," said right. "Right," said left, and off they set. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, faster and faster, marching poor little Miss Bossy along. She's not really poor, Miss Bossy, we don't really feel any sympathy for her. Little Bossy couldn't do a thing about it. Mr. Lazy was much amused. "Well done, Wilfred," he chuckled. And there he is, look, having a little chuckle with Mr. Wizard. Wilfred winked. A wizardy wink. That's more alliteration, isn't it? Wilfred winked a wizardy wink. Those boots marched little Miss Bossy for 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 miles. She was exhausted. "Ready, left," said the right boot. "Ready," replied left. "And turn to the right." "Shum," said left, and they came to a halt. Little Miss Bossy was quite out of breath. She tried to take off her boots, but it was impossible. Why? Because they're magic boots. Along came Wilfred. "Those," said Wilfred, pointing to the boots, because all wizards speak in a very grand voice. "Those," said Wilfred, pointing to the boots, "are only for people who are too bossy." "Well, make them go away at once," cried Miss Bossy, stamping her feet. Well, she tried to stamp her foot, but the boot wouldn't. "Oh, we're all out of stamping," chuckled Right, and Left giggled. "You will do as I say," shouted Miss Bossy. "Ready when you are," said Right. "Right away," replied Left. "Quick, march," and off they set again. Left, right, not for 5 miles, for 10 miles. And then they stopped again, and along came Wilfred. He probably doesn't have to walk, does he? He probably just magics himself to where he needs to be. "Make these stupid boots go away," shouted Miss Bossy. "Only if you say The magic word, replied Wilfred. Miss Bossy thought, and she thought, and she thought again. Now, you probably know the magic word because you are all very nice, polite children, and you use it all the time. But of course, being Miss Bossy, she never bothers with it. What's the magic word? Please, she said. That's better, smiled Wilfred, and he said the wizardy word again under his breath from page 304. And the boots disappeared. Ding! There they are, all gone, as if by magic. Now then, said Wilfred, sternly wagging his finger, stop being bossy, or you know what will happen. Miss Bossy nodded miserably. Very well, smiled Wilfred, and off he went. Do you know something? From then on, until now, off little Miss Bossy went, and she was a changed person. She was not bossy at all. You know why, don't you? You know what she was afraid of? Being called Bossy Boots. Because that's what she had on her feet, didn't she? Bossy Boots. And there she is, look, having a joke with all her friends. Because on the whole, we don't like people who are too bossy, do we? So that's the story of little Miss Bossy. There she is with a hat and a flower in a hatband. I quite like that story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're all having a good time at home. I'm going to put these in. We're going purple today, shall we? So tomorrow, I tried to find the yellow one and the red one, but I can't find them. But I'm sure there must be some. Maybe they're hiding magically away so that I can't find them. I will hopefully read you another story tomorrow. And I might even be able to read some older children's stories as well, but we'll see how it goes. Because if I'm not careful, I'll spend all day reading stories, which actually would be rather, maybe we'll do that. That'd be a nice thing to do. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Have a jolly good day. Hope you're all very well and talk to you soon. Bye.